Well, I just thought that would be a fun way to start for a change. Try to maybe break the spell of this dull, dull, lusterless day. These dull, lusterless days. Hi, I'm Kurt. I'm a 61-year-old retired American living in Japan. I This is my good life meditation, a daily video reflection on the last 24 hours that I use to help me to consider my life as it's occurring relative to the values in my book, Going Alone, which you can read for free at goingalone.org. I, I also use this time to think about the last 24 hours and how I did with various challenges and opportunities relative to these values. I prepare for the coming day and I go over my creed. Well, this seems to have worked. Wow. But just putting the guitar in my hands kind of, you know, just made me feel better. It always does. I love sitting here with my guitar. So that's for sure. Anyway, this is a journal video, so I'm at liberty to talk about anything I like for as long or as short as I like. I do talk about death reliably, so if that's a uncomfortable subject for you, be forewarned. And a huge thank you to my subscribers, my YouTube members, and my Patreon supporters. I really do appreciate all of you. And again, a huge thank you to Robert yesterday for your $50 gift. I almost bought a guitar with that, Robert, if you happen to see this. The only reason I didn't was that I decided that I really don't need a guitar. I have one here, but Yumiko and I were out at a thrift store yesterday, and I saw the loveliest little guitar that had been highly customized, built in 1974, highly customized by the owner to have all the chords, little dots, all the chords in the on the fretboard here for their training, and it had a very nice sound, a very delicious, quieter sound than this guitar. And it was only $15, and it was in good shape, and I really liked it. And I didn't, and I actually was tempted earlier. I woke up just before the alarm this morning, thinking to myself, maybe I'll go back to that thrift store where I saw it and pick it up, but I won't. I don't need another guitar. I've got one, but I was thinking I could use Robert's $50 gift to buy that guitar. I was thinking I would leave it downstairs. We have a little outdoor cubby shed. I would leave it outstairs to make that my downstairs, my garden guitar. Actually, that sounds like a good idea. Maybe I'll do that, actually. And I'll consider Robert's fine gift as the impetus to that end. Because it doesn't need any tuning. It doesn't need anything. It's ready to go. What do you think, clock? Striking 6:30. Hey, you got it right for once. Like one strike at the half hour mark. It's not, but you're off by a little less than an hour, a little more than an hour. It's a little more than 5:30 now. Okay, hold on. Even though I don't play very well, I just love playing the guitar. It's so much fun. I'm so bad at it. I spend so much time just sitting around playing my guitar. It really, really lifts my spirits. Maybe I will get that other guitar, just because I use it as a catalyst to help me rise above these dull days. Okay, with that said, I got my greeting, disclaimer, and thanks done. Now the last 24 hours. My only note here is that it was another dull day, just like the day before. I think I've mentioned it. Well, I know I have. I talked about it a lot yesterday. The horror show that's unfolding back in the USA has robbed me of my rob isn't the right word, maybe, has uh, tuned my mind away from my normal optimistic appreciation for life. I've basically become very down as a result, and but not in a depressed type of way, just down like a cold and dark day, um, like weather. There's it feels like winter inside of me, and um, it's pretty bad. So bad. So in fact, it's a holiday today, and Yumiko and we were going to go do something fun. Yumiko and Yoko, her sister, are going to go to Makinohara, which is a drive away to have a day of it, make a fun day of it. I elected to not go because I've been such a downer lately that I don't want to bring down the ladies. I don't want to be curdy downer. So I'm going to stay behind. I was going to do some gardening and get started on my 2025 taxes. So I was gonna, which I need a good stretch of time alone to work on the taxes. I was gonna do that. What a way to spend a holiday, right? Doing taxes. I shouldn't do that, but I don't want to. I don't want to. I know that when I'm around other people right now, that I'm no fun to be with because I'm not feeling good. So I don't want to. I don't want to do that to anyone else. So I won't. So today and yesterday was the same. It was like the day before yesterday, and yesterday was the same. And I feels like today's starting off to be the same as well. And that's okay. This isn't a problem to be solved. This is an artifact. It would be like in wintertime complaining that the cold and the darkness of winter are a problem to be solved. They're not. They're an artifact of winter. And I'm experiencing an artifact of my own winter right now. And this is an artifact of the horror show. There was an interesting comment yesterday. I made a video that an interesting comment that I go through comments every morning, and I try to respond to everything from the past 24 hours. Um, and there was a comment yesterday on a video that I made sitting in a bamboo forest talking about uh, I was working in the bamboo forest, and I was thinking about how life is like this great machine. No new analogy there. A lot of people come up with that idea. This great engine, this great machine. But what the new idea for me was that the horror show sometimes are where the gears come together. Right? The teeth of the gears grind, and if we get too close, we get caught up in it. Our loose clothing gets caught up. We get pulled into the machine, and it's grinding and making noises and stuff like that. And someone left a comment on that video describing how they had gone through a horror show themselves, and that their own sense of their joy of life had not come back, that it was gone. And I'm becoming suspicious that that might be the case, that even though I might recover, some or part of my old optimism back, I think a part of my innocence has been killed off, and ain't coming back. And the attendant thought that went with that was, well, if that's the case, then all the more reason to capitalize on the opportunities of youth, and the freedom and the energy and the vitality that comes with youth, rather than postponing uh, our pleasures in life and our adventures and our other activities until later, because it's later in life. I'm thinking, over the other side of 60, when our vulnerabilities really begin to increase, our body begins to wind down, as mine is. Boy, at risk of sounding like a real curdy downer this morning, my body is definitely fading fast. Uh, it pisses people off sometimes when I say this. I mean, it really makes people upset. But I mean, I don't think I have more than five good summers left. Um, 10 would astonish me if I have 10 more. I don't mean I'm going to be dead in 5 to 10 years. I just don't think that I'm going to be healthy in 5 to 10 years. The way that the speed and the rate of my physical decline is so fast since age 57. And so that factor alone, let alone with the psychological factor that now that the horror show has appeared, um, and I've got another good hell of a good horror show in the works for me. You know, within the next few years with my mother. This stuff's more than I can handle. I'm not saying like that I'm not saying that I'm going to do anything. I'm saying it more the way I said it more than I can handle. It sounds scary, and I don't mean it that way. What I simply mean is my constitution, my body and mental constitution, um, may not be able to withstand in their current state, in their state going into these types of horror shows. What it means is that I'll come out at the end a deeply changed person, probably for good. I already think I am. I don't know that I can ever get my innocence back, which is sad because I feel like I still have. I could have made some good use of that innocence, but okay, my creed consists of 8 objectives: to be always ready to die, to make good and effective use of time, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, to cultivate good emotional reactions, and number 5, to perform good actions relative to my creed. Let me go ahead and read that. Perform good actions, page 250 of the hardbound edition. Perform good actions. My deeds should be worthy of a life spent working to pass each day as an improvement, not only for myself and my family, but also for those with whom I share life now, as well as those in the future who will receive this common inheritance. Yikes, I almost caught my book on fire. Check this out. Got this little flame burning down right there, and I had lifted up, like going alone is right here, and it's holding down the page, and I didn't realize the page had gone up, and it was almost touching that little flame right there. Goodness, which is about to go out. All right, prepare another candle here. Okay, that's that for number 6. Sixth objective is to recognize my true limits and true opportunities. Number 7 is to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. And number 8 is to keep my balance. Interesting book that I'm reading right now. In fact, I'll share it with you. It's Lazario de Tormes and The Grifter. These are novels of the low life in Golden Age Spain from the 15th century. These are 2 stories about kind of young boys who were raised without any advantage in 15th century Spain, and accounts of how they got by. Stories more than biography. And were very well written. The first is written anonymous. We don't know who the author was. The second one we do, and I'm really enjoying the story, and very interesting to see how a young person, essentially an orphan, would have gotten by, drifting from one master, so to speak, to another. In the first case, a beggar. My first master was a beggar, and the second master was a priest. And the horrible experiences, as you can imagine, that happened, the beatings that he received as a boy, and what really comes through in the novel. I'm reading the first one. There's 2 books in here. The first one right now is this: how the perpetual sense of hunger that he's always feeling, never able to get enough food, and just constantly being hungry all the time. And that's the kind of thing that I like about historical, or old writing, is that sometimes it makes assumptions about life that I take for granted now. Having food, is not in something to think about, but it was the predominant thought in this young man's mind. Okay, as for the next 24 hours, I think I've already covered that. I'm not going to join Yumiko and Yoko. I'm going to let them enjoy a day without bummer me around. I'm going to, in shortly here, I'll go and join the gang for radio exercise. Then I'll have breakfast. We'll walk the dogs. Then I'll have breakfast. And then I want to do some gardening. I really want to do my taxes. I want to get started on that. That's, believe it or not, I know that sounds like a crappy way to spend a holiday, but it's on my mind. My taxes are. This is the first complicated tax year for me, Miko. That we have to file taxes in both the United States and Japan this year, and I need to do it in a way that's timely and make sure that I can satisfy both governments. And this is the week that I'm going to do it. So I'll probably work on taxes, crappy taxes. And that's that for that. Let's read any comments. Tim says, "Hello, Tim. Good morning. Weather check for the UK at 8:33 p.m. is 9.7 degrees Celsius and 96% humidity. A windy, gray, dark, rainy day." Wow, that sounds like the opening of a novel there. Michael Littlejohn says, "Hi. Hi there." Tim says, "I have 4 guitars and always pondering over another and keep saying to myself, but this one is different." That's what I keep saying too. I find playing a guitar takes my thoughts away from all life's worries and tribulations. You and me, exactly. I could have written that sentence that you just wrote. In fact, the reason that I like this other guitar that I was thinking about getting isn't so much the guitar itself. It has a different sound. It's like okay, this is going to sound crude. I'll say it. It's like having a different girlfriend. Yeah, each guitar. I love going to. We meet when I go to these thrift stores, and I love going to the thrift stores that have the selections of guitars because I have my tuner on my phone, and I'll sit there on a little bench and I'll tune the guitar and I'll play it, and each one is like dating another woman, right? I mean, she's different. She sounds different. She feels different. She's plays different. There's a difference, and like I'll have this one song that I play over and over again, and to play that song on this guitar and that other guitar just has a different feel to it. I'm sure that Tim will appreciate my 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 description here. Evelyn says, "Hi Evelyn, hi Kurt, Tim, and Michael. Kurt, you look so handsome. Thank you very much. That's my expensive haircut. I got my nice haircut done, and I'm wearing a sweater, a nicer sweater. I deliberately put that on. Thank you, I appreciate that. I got Yumiko picked out a nice cardigan sweater for me uh, yesterday when we were shopping, so I got that to wear too. I, but that's not this one. This one is something else. Thank you, Evelyn. Tim says, "Hi, Michael and Evelyn, and Mar Mighty 5971, a longtime friend of the channel. Hello, good to see you. Hello, Kurt, Tim, Evelyn, and Michael." Evelyn says, "For me, it's that we expect our parents to get old and sick, but not other younger people who you are close to." Exactly, right? Yeah. Save that wave comes later, right? Tim says, "I can relate to when I went through all of the work stress a few years back. It was something I thought I would never suffer from, and I've never been the same since. There's a part of me that has died." Exactly, Tim. Yes, and it's innocence. And you know what? It's maybe the price that we pay for a sense of maturity and wisdom, so to speak, in the process. And I'm glad to pay those prices. I'm all right. I'm all right. Becoming darker and more somber if I'm getting a good return on that. Tim says, "Hard to describe, but my only salvation is to be thankful what I do have remaining and focus on that to be happy as one can possibly be." Tim, that's a good point. And for example, I haven't told you guys this because I don't know, but one of the thoughts I had for today was this is leveraging off of what you say. Thankful for the fact that I still am relatively healthy and vital. My mind still seems to be operating well. Uh, you know, there's a hike that I wanted to make that I was thinking this would be a good day to do it uh, because it's in kind of a scary place where I know there's bears. There's a sign that says so, and bears have been bad. And I was thinking maybe today would be a good day for me to escape away to the mountain and take that hike that I want to take on. That's an abandoned farm trail into the mountains in bear country. What do you think? Should I go into bear country today? I've got my bear spray. I got my bear knife. Should I maybe, you know, leverage the fact that I'm still healthy and still vital, so to speak, and go do that instead of doing taxes? Evelyn says, "Hi, Marmighty." And Marmighty says, "Wishing you strength." Thank you so much. Tim says, "Definitely true. I like to alternate between an acoustic and an electric, different sounds and feel. Haven't never tried an electric guitar. That sounds fun. Sounds like a rabbit hole I would fall down." Evelyn says, "Tim has so many guitars and so many clocks." Tim laughs at that. Marmighty says, "You've inspired me in many ways through your book and general attitude." Thank you, Marmighty. I really do appreciate hearing that. Worth doing badly. I love that name. Absolutely. Tim says, "Always keep saying to myself, there's many a person a lot worse off than me, Tim." Exactly. Well, one of the things I think that's contributed a little bit to my being down is the fact that I've been doing so much study relative to my job to understand the circumstances that the people who are my students are coming from in some of the countries that I'm coming from. And I'm discovering just how hard it is for life in some of these places. Getting by, struggling, I mean, is at another level. And that's had an effect on me too. A lot of the life's pain has been on offer lately, and I guess I shouldn't be surprised that it has affected me as much as it has. Although I will today not cause my wife and sister-in-law to suffer with me on it. I'll spend the day alone, either doing taxes, maybe buy a guitar, maybe go for a hike. We'll see what happens. But I'm not gonna. But I'll spend the day alone. Pardon me. All right, and with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and close off. I'll continue reading a little bit, and then I'll go do morning exercise. Evelyn says, "Those students are so lucky to have you as their teacher." Thank you, Evelyn. I appreciate that. Tim says, "Starting off again when young, I don't envy." Ooh, yeah, boy. Yeah, no, I good. You know what, Tim? I'm really glad you made that point because think about that. Think about that. You know, as much as I feel like I'm darker and more somber now, at least I'm not, you know, stupid like as or at least as stupid as I was in my 20s and 30s. I mean, I was really suffering from a great ignorance of life and the world, and that ignorance was bliss in a way, right? So I had it was life that then was a lot more peaceful, but I was sure was a lot more stupid then. Stupid is a strong word, and I'm only applying it to myself, and I do mean it in terms of rank lack of understanding and experience relative to life at large. So yeah, I wouldn't want to go back to that. I wouldn't want to go back to my youth. Marmighty says, "Smooth seas never made a good sailor." Ooh, Marmighty, that is a powerful one. Smooth seas sounds like a folk saying of some sort. I like that. Tim says, "I was very stupid when young. I left school with zero qualifications." Mhm. Well, I'm going to close for now. Wishing everybody all the best. Be safe, but not too safe. And Robert, if you happen to see this again, thank you very much for your $50 gift yesterday. If I wind up with a guitar day, another guitar today, it will be thanks to you. Just $15. Evelyn says, "Bye, man. Bye, woman." Take care, everybody. Be safe, but not too safe. And as for me, tonight I will die in my sleep. Good night. Goodbye, Tim. Have a great day. Sleep well. Stay safe in that weather. Bye bye.